Yeah. Here we are again.
Yeah, we are, Ian.
Oh, this is good. Well, so for people watching right now, this is again real life. This is what it is, and that's part of why we're trying to film this in the way that we are.
Yeah.
A wave of anxiety.
I'm just
breathing,
very overwhelmed now.
Overwhelmed.
This is the most social interact. It's very peoply.
Very peoply.
And it's been a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't normally do, I wouldn't even do half of what I've done in a week.
Yeah.
And that's why I take myself to my bedroom, put my blinds down and put my headphones in and try and, which normally works, but it hasn't.
It's been intense. It's been intense for me. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
It's intense. So, I can't even imagine for you what it's going through, and we're going to take it nice and easy for this one, hopefully. And maybe a apt topic is take your pills for this one.
Yeah.
And I think what I want to try and drive home with this is the importance of not being ashamed.
A lot of stigma around medication.
A lot of stigma, and it stops a lot of people from making that step.
Or they come off it before they're ready.
Yeah.
Or even they don't even want to come off it. I've done it many times by being influenced by certain conversations.
Yeah.
Being meeting healers.
Shamans.
in Ibiza, and you don't need medication, you just need to do this and this, it's all in you, and it's all a conspiracy theory. Okay, I won't, I don't want to be on them. I want to be to control myself, my mind, my mental health and stuff like that. Come off them. Shit show, and it's very bad. I have to accept that I have to be on medication, and I have tried not, and some days I do get down about it because I feel like, I don't know. It feels like sometimes a weakness, I guess, sometimes within myself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can live better on them, and coming off them is a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I have to remember that actually way, way, way ago, before I had any medication, I was horrific.
Yeah.
So I think you think, oh, they're working now. It's like kind of like that thing of like, oh, they're working now, I don't need them. No, they're working now, amazing.
Yeah.
Keep fucking taking your pills.
Totally, and that's the key thing to this. So I'm obviously here with you in close proximity, and yesterday there was a beautiful moment when
what did I do?
the phone, no, it wasn't you, but your phone went. Can you remember what song it is? It's your alarm.
Oh, Mr. Blue Sky,
Mr.
I have
Blue
it
Sky.
for my alarm, yeah.
And it came up.
Take your pills.
Take your pills.
Yeah, that's my reminder every morning.
And you hear that, and you hear Mr. Blue Sky, take your pills. And it's that thing for you. But it is really important. We just did the show before this, if people haven't watched it, was with DJ Fat Tony, and we were talking a lot about the controlling of the mind and the constant battle that you're having in your mind to control factors. And if people haven't watched it, I recommend that they do go back and watch it.
Yeah.
But how important do you feel that by having your medication allows you that extra bit of support to control your mind? I mean, do they play a big part? Yeah.
I see it as that allows me, because trust me, they don't change you, they don't fix you, but it gives me that tiny light enough to, so when that alarm goes off and Mr. Blue Sky plays, take your pills, I stand up and fucking slam my feet on the floor, and I have to say to myself, today I've got a choice, and some days I don't feel like I've got a choice, and I do succumb to it, but I do have to try and make the choice to try and... and so they help a lot. I mean, I think like the wellness industry, they've got a responsibility and they need to be careful. There's too much shit about take this herbal thing and it'll change your life, or you don't need this. I get it that everyone needs a different approach. Medication is not for everyone at all, and that's amazing. And we all need different approaches, but at the same time, I think it can sometimes make people feel that, oh, if I just start yoga,
that it's going to cure everything. And that's
not it. It's an army of stuff. You're going to war, you need lots of guns.
Different...
I do not like guns, by the way.
That's fine, it does.
That didn't feel right.
No, good. You look like a rapper.
A rapper or cowgirl.
I'd buy your album. I think this is the things, because there is a lot of stuff out there, and I think there is a bit of a balance in that, because you kind of don't want people thinking that taking a tablet is the answer, because it is a risky, because it's not. If you think that taking a tablet will make you better, then all you're going to do is become an expert at taking tablets. I always think
everything, but
it's the whole model.
I think it's the thing as well that a lot of the time, a lot of people experiences of finally getting the courage to go to the doctor, they just get given out like a fucking smartie, and then they take it. And I've been there so many times where I see it as my lifeline, and I remember literally just being like calling my sister, being like, "But I've been taking it for this long now. How long? How long?" And then finally being like, "Actually, you don't even notice it." Yeah. Someone, like my sister, will say, "You seem a little bit different. Like, you seem okay. Like, how are you doing?" You think, okay.
It's like a 14-day. I mean, you probably know this, but in mental health, it's like the watching window. 14 days. Everything kind of works on a 14-day cycle, and hence why you should always be taking stuff for 14 days before you can start to understand if it's the right medication for you. Because this is the other thing. Again, we've spoken about. Everyone's totally unique.
Yeah.
And this again is why we're doing this and why we're talking about this, because I can't just assume that if something's worked for you, it'll work for me.
Exactly.
And then when I take it, I'm like, well, hang on.
Yeah.
Because for a start, you're female, I'm a male. We've got very different chemistries going on inside of us. So why would it work for you and me?
Exactly. Everyone needs a different approach, don't they? And it needs to be okay to do whatever approach, but they shouldn't be this kind of like pill bashing.
It should, no.
Or feeling of weakness to be on it. Actually, it's pretty hardcore, because you're taking that control and being sensible enough to be like, you know what, this is what I need. Yeah.
If you have a headache, you take an aspirin. Yeah. If you're in pain, you take an ibuprofen. If you've got swelling, you do this. So it's no different from having the courage to say, well, actually, I need some support.
Yeah.
I look at tablets the way I like to describe this when I talk to people is they're seeds that you're planting in the ground. Yeah. And what you're doing when you get to a point where your mental illness or you're experiencing such poor mental health, you've gone you've gone down. Yeah. And what the antidepressants or whatever medication is you're taking, what they will do is eventually allow you to hit the ground.
Yeah.
And then what's really important is you've planted the seed, you then got to build the tree.
I know.
And the tree is
you don't just take it, and it's ongoing as well. Totally. Some people can be on medication and it's enough for them to get through what they're going through and they can come off them. Yeah. Brilliant. Other people, they need it, and that's that. Yeah. And if it's a lifeline to someone, it shouldn't be like, try and do it without. You don't need it. You've got it in you, because mental health it's a natural fucking fucked up thing. It's not like a.
Do you know there's a really interesting document that I see which looks at disability rankings. So every physical disability has a ranking. The way that
my god, the sun's gone in. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, I know.
My boobs,
but there's a disability ranking. So every physical ailment has a disability ranking, and when you go to the NHS and UK or wherever, they rank you on that about how much it impacts your life, how much you can function. So they all vary from Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all the way through to spinal cord damage, untreated spinal cord damage. The way that untreated spinal cord damage will impact your life sits at the same level as severe depression.
Yeah.
Severe depression will impact someone's life, the ability to function, to move, to do things. Yeah, and I always say this when I'm in the workplace, if someone came into your work and said, I've got untreated spinal damage, I was in a major pile-up this morning, it would take a matter of seconds before they were like, go home.
Yeah.
Get treated, go to the hospital, go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yet somehow we've all come to the point that because we can't see it, because it's not there, we're happy to accept that something that is as debilitating as spinal cord damage.
Yeah.
Well, can you just man up, crack on, deal with it? It'll be all right. What are you complaining about?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I think people are so concerned about saying, do you know what, I actually need to go and see something. There was an artist I read about a couple of days ago. In fact, I think it was Professor Green, who said he was embarrassed it took him so long to go and get the support he needed.
Yeah.
And I think if there's anyone watching here that has any kind of thoughts, what would you say? What would your thoughts be around this?
Oh my God, do yourself a favour and take your medication.
Yeah.
go and get help. Don't, or if you know, I get it that a lot of people want to try other things. Brilliant, do it, but then don't be like, okay, well that hasn't worked, so I'm just going to stay. Yeah. Don't stay in the place that you're not meant to stay there.
Totally.
So, yeah, definitely going to see doctors, but also to remember that when you get given the medication, you can, in the first few weeks, taking side effects. I mean, they can be brutal,
including thoughts of suicide.
They can actually make you feel worse.
Yeah.
And I think getting yourself in a headset where you're saying, like, okay, I may feel worse, but I'm going to bear in mind I'm on these tablets, and just keep checking in, but don't make any harsh judgments to come off them. And also, if you do ever come off them, this is because I've done this a billion times, do not just stop your medication.
Did you stop because you thought, I'm better, I'm all good, I'm feeling great, I don't need...
thinking like, oh, I can like do this on my own, I don't need it now, but I do.
Yeah.
And I think that there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with whatever approach that works for you. But I do think that the wellness industry and all this stuff, they need to be responsible when they're putting out certain things about it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. The pharmaceutical industry is a business.
Yeah.
And it is slightly corrupt.
Yeah.
And I know that they make money out of all of us. But at the same time...
I think one of the key things is that people still see... if I break my arm, I break my leg, it could be fixed.
Yeah.
And this is a big word I really think I could fix. My arm could fix. It could be stronger than it ever was before. And I think when it comes to mental illnesses, people try to get fix points. They're like, oh, this is shit. I'm going to take tablets. Oh, I feel good. I'm fixed. I'll stop them.
There isn't just
with mental illness, there's no fix point.
I'd say that's your starting point. Your starting point to give you hopefully enough hope.
Yeah.
And enough sort of light to
it's that seed, it's planting the seed.
Things.
Yeah. And this is the thing, because once you've experienced the mental illness, and I'm talking about whether it's mild depression, moderate depression, anxiety, OCD, whatever it is, you will be affected for life. You won't ever hit fixed point because you can't remove what's...
There isn't I'm cured now, brilliant.
No. And it's just an evolving process.
Learning every day, which is how it is in general, isn't it? That's how it should be. And you might be on a good path for like a month and be like, well, I get like this, I've started this routine, this work, and then it stops working, and you're like, fuck, throw right back down again. You have to find another one that works. Like, you have to be flexible.
When we talk, and then you'll go, I can see when you might dip, because you'll go quiet, you'll go in yourself, you'll retreat, and you'll be quiet again. And there's always, like, when we get voice notes and stuff, I can gauge you first word.
Yeah.
Like, and that's it. That's the thing. The first word I hear on your voice note, I'm like, this is where Claire is today. That's where she has that. And then I think that's so important that people understand that recovery isn't about a fixed point.
Yeah.
Recovery is about understanding that you need to take a new approach to life, that it's going to flow like water. It's going to good days, bad days.
Exactly.
And the acceptance that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the key thing for
and being to sit in it. I mean, in all honesty, I'm not feeling comfortable at all at the moment. And my eyes are going. I get really squinty. Well, it's not just sun. It's just like my eyes go. I'm not, and I know that I'm going to walk away from this one and be like, I don't feel happy with it because I don't feel, but because I feel too overwhelmed. Like the noise, I'm like,
it's noisy
and I don't have my earphones on now, and I don't feel like I'm doing.
You're doing absolutely perfect.
I want it to be, but I guess what the take the pills thing was is to get across. I hope you wouldn't be doing it in this kind of current state, not a permanent state, I'd like to add, is that no one else lives your life. No one else will ever be to really understand what goes like on in your head. So don't be influenced by people that are not in the same situation as you. If fucking Sally had depression and she did it without, well done, Sally. Brilliant. And that is brilliant. But that doesn't mean that makes you any less for having medication for whatever it is.
Yeah, no. I've got mates that don't get hangovers. I'm so envious. But the fact is I do get a hangover. And when I get a hangover, I take medication.
Yeah.
I don't sit there and go, well, hang on, Johnny don't get a hangover, so I will not get a hangover. It doesn't work that way. And somehow we just accept that. And it needs to change. And when we sat and looked at these topics that we wanted to discuss, this was really one that we
Yeah, I felt really passionate about it, just purely because of my own experience, and I've spoken to other people about it, about how they, you know, they want to take it, but they feel like they should just be to like sort it out themselves. They should just be to fix it.
Should be able to.
Well, come on, if you fucking broke your leg, I hate these things that you even have to do this, but if you broke your leg, you wouldn't just be like, my bone's hanging out, but it's okay, like, it's okay, I'm a big guy, I can do this. Yeah, exactly.
The other key thing that I do talk about a lot, or I certainly mention a lot, is talking. And I know that's not a medication, but it's, for me,
it certainly is.
It's the first step. It's often hard, especially for men. We know that that's not a thing. Men don't talk as much, but what we know is that when a man or a female can make that first step, that first communication, that first real honesty with themselves, it's often the most rewarding, because it's the first rung on the ladder, and it's the first kind of introduction. And I think one of the other things that stands out is once you talk and you engage, you start to realise that there's a massive army of lovers and people that are like, it's all good.
Yeah.
We've been there, we've lived it,
exactly.
We can help. And do you know what? It does get better.
Yeah.
And there is hope, and there's things that can be done that can make huge changes. And I think the sooner we can get people talking.
Yeah.
Openly.
About it, happily about it.
Happily.
And being like kind to themselves. Like I do this now. I've literally done it today. I get so frustrated when I get back like this. And I'm like, it hurts, I don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. Rather than just accept that this is part of it. Yeah. And actually the more negative attention I give it, the more I don't want, the more it gets, rather than learning to try and almost sit with it. It's really hard. And to accept that that's part of how it is forever for me. It's not going to go away, and that's with me on medication.
Do you know, we spoke a lot about, I was thinking this a moment ago, we spoke a lot about you, and obviously because you live with anxieties and illnesses. But I found it quite tough today. It's a strange thing. Yeah, I've found, I spoke to some of the people here about my triggers started creeping in today. Anxiety, thought messing up, thinking that I've upset people. And that's a trigger for me. Guilt when I'm not doing anything. And I had that today, and it was a bit weird. And I was sat there and I was thinking, and I could see them come, because I've identified what my triggers are as you have. I could see them coming like steam trains. Yeah. And it started last night, and it starts coming in.
Why did you think that? What do you think kind of tipped that?
I think I'm tired. I think I'm overwhelmed. I think I'm emotional. I miss my family. Yeah. And all these things.
You've been in fucking 2 days. But
do you know what? This is the funny thing. This is the funny thing about it.
Let's get my attention.
Back in the room. This is the funny thing. I'll go away from my family for much longer than this. But I think when you have the cocktail, of it, when you have everything in the melting pot, when you have it, all of a sudden it starts to all play apart. And it got me. It's with me at the moment. And it's an interesting thing. And I think that's through talking and through communicating my own lived experience, I can start to recognise my triggers. And once they're there though, there's no way of removing it. It's not like, here they come, done. Yeah. I have to work through them and understand. And
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is. And that's, again, it's I then talk to someone and go, right, hang on, is this in my head or is this not? And, this is what we do. And no, it's...
Thing is, and that's the thing, it's completely okay to feel like that. But I fight my feelings that are negative because I hate it so much. Yeah. Obviously, everyone does.
It is.
But rather than just trying to sit with it, I find it hard.
I think anyone that says that they don't have internal battles with their thoughts and their feelings is a bullshitter. And we're saying that because at any point, anyone has to have that element where they feel weakness, exposed, vulnerable. Yeah. And it's then having the ability to say, do you know what? This isn't, as much as this is part of life. Yeah. I need to communicate this. And if the communication gets to the point where you need medication, then you go, I need medication.
The battleground is ever only in our head, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a tough one. But do you know what? I know, and we've spoke about this, I know that I hope that when we do these videos, even if one person can watch it and relate and be like, do you know what? I feel that way.
Someone.
And yeah. So listen, we're going to take a break. We're going to call this one a day. I think we're both going to go and take some time out. But thanks, everyone, and see you next time. No, you're not. Oh, the handshake's back.
That's a handshake.
Come on, then. Thank you. Oh.